Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Indeed, it has been a while. Has been a while, hasn't it? How you doing there? We got a Jonathan. Good to have you, my friend. Ron, Apollo, and Ron again. Yeah, it had been a while. I sent the term fair while ago, but then Dadman had been busy over Christmas, which was fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I had all of exams in that period, and we were going to resume about a week or two ago, but he said he had technical issues, so here we are once again. I'm just going to go ahead and get the audio balanced here. It sounds a little bit louder than music, so I've reduced that by about 50% there. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and... That's funny actually with the restream thing. I don't know which link to share. I'm going to share the Twitch one, because if you guys could follow me on Twitch, that would help quite a lot, in fact. Companies, when you deal with them, do tend to care more about the Twitch thing than the YouTube thing, which is an amusing little thing there. But yeah, ideally the save works. I would dearly hope that to be the case. I've set up the actual game. I didn't have the game actually installed, so I had to set that up once again. And I did install a mod. It's a similar one, but it's a different looking map. Supposedly works better for the higher definition, larger resolution. So I guess we'll see there. Okay. Okay. Okay, that makes sense then. That's good to know, actually. I didn't realise that. I didn't think about that, actually. That's a good idea. That's a good thing, actually, to mention. Oops, wrong thing. There we are. Okay, so... I'll run this bad boy. How you doing there, Ben? Good to have you, my friend. Yeah, it's good to have you there, Ben. Good to have you. Yeah, the save is in there. Of course, I haven't tested it, so I have no idea what is to come. I'm trying to remember what we had planned. We didn't have tremendous amounts planned, in fact, so it could very well be a very quiet turn. And that's not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing to have a quiet turn. So he says impeccable taste. I do need to get the database amendment from him, so we can have that like being the same once again. But I guess we'll see. Ah, this is exciting. It's been so long. And I think it's working. Yeah, the map may seem a little bright. In fairness, I've gone through quite a few different map mods. This one is supposedly better for a larger screen. Like, the names seem a little bit easier. I don't know. Hopefully it shows up better. Like, it looks as if the, like, New Britain there, that looks a little bit clearer. I can't honestly remember, but you guys will have to let me know if you prefer it or not. I'll probably try another 5 map mods by the end of the year. This is like the fourth time I've installed one Pacific on a different machine in, like, a very short time. Okay. Ooh, that is a bit loud, isn't it? Let me, just turn that down a bit. That has a bit of a kick, doesn't it? Volume mixer. I've still not used this. Let's try about 5. I often wonder if there's people out there who can have this game on or like just have sounds at 100% because they must be deaf. Okay, so we do have a number of actual landing barges down here that we're delivering. But they were essentially going to load supplies and move them between Atupua and Vanikoro. Interesting enough, he has the sea line in here. Okay. Oh, she took aim with her 20 mils there. So lose a landing barge. Now this is at night. I had to kind of remind myself this is at night. I'm not used to it being... because this is relatively bright. But we do see ship there, ship there, task force I should say. That one just shifted. They remained relatively static, but there's one to the south there. We did have a force attempt to move north and I think bombard. Yeah, see that force there? You know, it's funny actually, when I loaded up a save and I saw the 7, I was like, oh my god, is it December? I was like, no, it's June, and it's the right save, seems to be working. Alright, so I see 2 ships, 2 submarines by the home islands. The ground forces seem to show up a lot better. I wonder why this one is so bright and others aren't. I don't know why that is. Maybe we have detection level? Who knows? I'm gonna sometimes I'm not entirely sure what the map is trying to tell you. But we have made it through here the night phase, which is a good thing as per usual. I was a kid when I said it could be a potentially quiet turn. That sounded really loud. That sounded like a different sound effect to what I actually imagined there. Ah, okay. Ah. Ah, Velita. Of course, they have deck guns. They elect not to use them. That'd be nice for torpedoes, yeah. You got deck guns, you got shells. Right, that's another jet there shot down from a sub. Just not particularly fantastic. We do have to replace those. And we do have them in production, but it is a bit of a pain in the backside. Right, DD out there. Seeing ships there to the north near Bellap, actually. Allied SS reported. Hit is a good thing. I didn't have a Vulcan. Where's the stream? Can't you see it? It should be there. I'm not seeing issues from others. Well, I don't know there, but I mean, it's on YouTube too, so maybe try YouTube. But I don't know why it wouldn't be working on Twitch there. Maybe Jameson, maybe indicate stronger. Possibly so. We could always check that one. Yeah, we have a new one. How you doing there, Jacob? Ooh, the audio's still a little bit loud, isn't it? Let me go ahead and reduce that yet again. This is what I'm talking about. You really have to fine-tune this. Okay. That should be about right. Yeah, it's a similar map mod to the one we had beforehand, but it's in theory. Yeah, I will share that. I'm using the 1942 variant, which the author lists as has been a little bit better, in fact, for larger resolutions. So it's a little brighter as well. A little brighter. I'm kind of used to having a darker map, in fact. In fairness, it may be because I have my screen brightness up, and maybe I didn't beforehand. Sometimes that is the case. Okay, skip through a number of these things here. Citizen will allow going to see too much. Okay. I don't particularly mind it being quiet here. It really just means that we have some time to get acclimated with the game once again, to be honest. So it has been a little while, hasn't it? But yeah, I'll go ahead and share the link afterwards to the map mod. Now, we're not too far out from the actual assault on Chungking, in fact. That's simply a case of just waiting for the actual forces to arrive. If I do recall, we were unloading forces to Pakoi. No, sorry, near Pakoi to march north there. So we have a bombardment once again over here, then. I do like this. We have the SNLF over here. That looks like a US... Looks like a US infantryman rather than a marine. I'm going to go by the helmet there. Kind of looks more like US infantry. Well, I don't know. I don't know if the marines wore those helmets. They might have done, actually. I guess they would have. I can imagine they probably would have done as well. Yeah, this is the part that always takes the longest. I mean, it has become increasingly hard to tell, really, how we're affecting the Chinese forces here at Chungking. We get snippets of information here and there, but there is a shockingly large amount of actual war areas and group armies, and just army commands in general. So they do have the benefit of having a fine amount of support, but yeah, it's a case of how much that's going to match in the end, really. I'm hoping that, because we did have the upgrade from a Type 89A medium, I think it's a medium, to the Type, is it Type 97 medium? It might be. I think we went from the 89A to the 97. I think that was the upgrade that we had as of recently, as of maybe like last turn or the turn before that, actually. Which is a quite nice upgrade to have, to be honest. It does mean that we have more firepower, more armor too, which is a good thing. Especially for the strategy we're going to try over here at Chungking, using the armor to sort of launch the first attack. Try and break. It'd be really, I mean, the main thing would be nice to try and drop supply in Chungking if we could from the fighting. Any attrition to men would be nice too, don't get me wrong, it's not expected. But if we could also drop at fort level, that'd be great. That'd be interesting. Now, I do have Chinese forces over there at Yanko too, so it looks as if they did cross this turn, but I'm not seeing the other forces about here. Okay. So we had 1 gun loss on our side there, 255 casualties reported there from the bombardment. Now, so we've seen 196,000 there, but still the 33 guns. So they do have men return, but not the guns. Okay, we do have bombardments over here. Now, these bombardments are going to hurt us a little bit, but we can recover these losses. The idea is essentially just to try and attrit to some extent. Disabled's fine, we can recover that. Okay, and as I said, and as I warned, likely could be a quiet turn, but yeah, I think we probably both have to get back into things and try and figure out what we were doing. It has been a while there, as we do have a number of bases expanding. Harvey expanded to 6 is pretty good. I think I will hold the expansion of Batavia now, so we do need more supply actually in the Dutch East Indies. I had inadvertently taken some out when loading troops, which I do need to replace pretty quickly. But yeah, in general, we do need to have more supply moved down to the Dutch East Indies. That would be ideal. The entire 7 area is actually a little sparse. There are certain areas that are. Yeah, there's a stream there, Alex. I just don't know why it's not working on Twitch. That's weird. I don't know why it's suddenly not working on Twitch. But some of you guys say it's working fine, so I don't know. I don't know what could cause that. I'll take a look at it in a moment. In fact, I'll take a look at it now, so bear with me. Yeah, so this is like all I'm seeing over here. So yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've done anything wrong. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Apparently that side's not working. I cannot fathom as to why that is, to be honest. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Okay. Yeah. Let me find a link for the YouTube one. Again, of course something just decides not to work. Don't know why. Love that. Okay. Yeah, bloody Twitch. Honestly, I can break anything and everything without doing a goddamn thing. Okay. So I'll take a, I'll wait for it to get back in. Come on, game load. There we are. Right, let me go ahead and do the normal there. Oh, I quite like that background, that's pretty cool. What are we on, 8th of June? Something like that? Oh. Ugh. I've got this giant ass mic in my face, so sometimes I can't see what I'm typing. I'm still trying to get used to the actual mechanical keyboard too. Still trying to get used to that. Okay, so we have our saves. We'll go ahead and reopen that, and it should run a little bit smoother. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. More often than not, it does. So we saw relatively little occur in there. We did see movements to the south. We obviously are aware of a submarine around. Oh, yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, database. I need to actually, I need to ask Dan for his database adjustments. Oops, wrong one. Right, let's go ahead and take a look then, shall we? Oh, I quite like that. That's quite nice. Yeah, so we saw a task force. In fact, we see a couple task forces out here. So that would be the one that headed this way. It does seem to more clearly show nationality, which is interesting. I'm going to assume blue to be here. Is that French or New Zealander? I'm not entirely sure. Of course, seeing assets down here too. Destroyers. Or a destroyer. We see aircraft over this way. Nothing particularly much here, Alex. It's been a pretty quiet one. Which is to be expected, I suppose, there. Have fun there, Nomadic. Have fun. At least the actual campaign's continuing. Yes, we are seeing quite a few submarines out here. Of course, we're aware of one out here too. He hasn't been particularly aggressive in this area here regarding the actual Santa Cruz Islands. But that may yet change. So seeing about 24 and 11 there. 23 and 20 there. So it's obviously based quite a few naval search out that way. Moving west, okay. So it's likely moving more engineers though. I'd like to try and increase the amount of submarines here just to try and put some holes in some of those ships. Speaking of putting holes in ships, we did find another tanker out here. It's listed as AP, but it's certainly a tanker. Looks to be one even here too. I don't know why he's still going for this. He's got to be trying to draw me out or potentially lure us in, but even then, it just seems like a strange thing to do. Even as a bait strategy, it'd be like, well, you're still giving away a tanker here and there. I don't know if it's a bait strategy. I just think perhaps it doesn't change it. Oh, no, Guinea actually looks pretty good in this map mod. That's pretty nice. Of course, we did have the fall of Port Moresby not that long ago. We do have our forces marching up the Kokoda Trail over here still. They're due to arrive next turn, the actual HQ. That's pretty good. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and place them into combat mode. These forces over here then... yeah. If I place them into movement mode, there's nothing there that really benefits from that. They can go in combat mode thereafter. We have 44 that's going to remain there. And they will recover over time. Their TOEs, not too bad, 80s, 86 there, so that's the one that is going to remain. Which makes sense due to the fact that I see one that is, has the greatest level of strength right now, and obviously will recover. The 56, yeah, didn't really take much of a scratch there. Most are disabled. I forget how the results went over here, but it did go pretty well. Which is a good thing. So they're heading back over this way towards Buna, and then they'll be moved elsewhere. Now, I did have some anxiety around the Gilbert Islands over here. So if we take a look, right, they're spotted, which is not exactly ideal. They're not, though, which is a good thing. It does mean that there is a risk out here of something coming out and potentially greeting us. We do have APDs on the way. We also do have 2 light cruisers and a destroyer moving out here too. It depends on really how cautious I want to be. I could potentially set these guys to, like, you know, like low threat threshold. But I want them to drop off a 52nd JNAF Air Force unit over here at Tabitea. The reason being we are going to go ahead and build this up. I don't really have the forts. I want to have the airfield. I want to move into the Gilbert Islands and actually establish a proper position out here. We are dropping off supply over here at Tanawa 2. Unloading the Saigon Maru, which has the 49th JNAF. They can dock there. They're unloading the 7th Independent SLF, as well as some additional supply out here as well, which is a pretty good thing to have. So, Tanawa is actually going to have some more assault value to help defend the island, as well as having an actual proper engineer unit. I think right now we have the base force, which I'm going to go ahead and take this second base force and have that moved elsewhere. The second base force itself is very interested in... I mean, it has about the same sort of aviation support as like a normal Air Force unit, but then it has additional things. You have like the SLF component in here. You have some interesting guns. So there, and also the main thing being the heavy level of naval support there. They're pretty good. They're pretty good to have like in another base. Yeah, indeed, running another new map, as per usual. Yeah, I was hoping that we wouldn't be detected out here, but they aren't detected right now, so... I don't know, he may not make much of like a patrol boat out here. And there's a little bit of worrying, because obviously we do have... There are ships and assets not too far away. He could even potentially have something out here. But I'm pretty sure he has patrol... Well, flying boat space out here at Baker Island. Maybe even down over here at Vanuatu or Vanuatu. Yeah. Vanuatu or Funafuti. I can actually see the names a little bit better, so that's pretty good. I don't have an excuse to back them up now. And this area, of course, we're building up the port. Nearly there. Once we get a level 1 is all we're looking for. It's expensive to get there, but it'd be nice to actually have. It will make bringing supplies into Kirikiri easier. They're currently unloading additional naval guard. We didn't really have much in the way of actual ground troops beforehand, so you can see here that we are at just 16 now. Minakaze is to unload 13 there. We do have the rest of the unit to go as well. And okay, so we're looking at about 23 there. Yeah, 23 mortar and some AT guns. Even then, that's a pretty significant increase. Well, I can't see what the actual bloody island terrain is. I think that's a JR. I think it's either jungle or jungle rough. I think it's jungle rough. Can't really remember now. But yeah, it's fairly hard either way. Actually, is a good point for us to hold on to, really. Ultimately, this area is going to come under pressure. It looks like it's going to be building this up to have larger bombers housed there, which should be an issue, of course. But I mean, he has the capability to throw out to throw out heavy bombers from Khans over here. He just hasn't. And he had that capacity, and he demonstrated that capacity by having B-17s bomb our troops over here on the Kokoda Trail some time ago, actually. Then after, he hasn't really continued with that. I wouldn't be too shocked if he was using them for really, you know, like as reconnaissance, just essentially have them fly patrols out there. I do have the G4M ones over here, trying to recover their squadron morale, in fact. Have his allies out here. And Oscars, and yeah, you can see that we do have the Helens over here. The Helens are a pretty new addition, in fact. Which should be quite handy. They're an armoured bomber. They have, I think, a little greater range. Not much else other than that, but the main addition of armour is a pretty big deal. It doesn't mean that at least we have something that can be a little bit hardier. So that's a useful thing. Out here, then. Fatigue's pretty low right now, which is a pretty good thing. I'm also trying to recover the morale over here on this squadron. I think morale has been something that we've kind of overlooked to a degree. Not by choice, I guess, but I think there had been times where we could have probably paid more attention to this. I believe it does have an impact. I'm not entirely sure how much of a quantitative impact that's going to have, but I can imagine it definitely will have one. I can't recall. I know it's in the manual. I've read it before, but it's been a while since I've read it. If you guys are curious, do go ahead and check it out in the manual, or even potentially take a look at it on the forum, but you'll surely find a better answer than I can't remember. Indeed. Okay, Batavi is going to have her airfield halted for now. I just want to build supply back up in this area. We moved out near enough a division, but obviously in its component parts over here to Singapore, which let me stop like that. I like to have infantry on the top. As you can see here now, the good thing is they are able to contribute with their engineers, IGA engineers and engineers, towards the building up at Singapore too. So you can see that we're building up the fortifications over here at Singapore now. But yeah, things are relatively quiet. Doesn't mean that there isn't anything going on. It's just that we can't see it as of yet. He has a whole bunch of aircraft over there at Calcutta. I mean, that's 206, 154, and 65. It's a fair whacking chunk, isn't it, really? Fair whacking chunk. Obviously, Madras has been built up significantly. I mean, that's a huge port and a huge airfield. He may yet try to build that up yet further, but yeah, it's pretty significantly large. Over in China, it's where the real meat of the campaign is right now. We do have these forces over here. We do have the 8th Tank Regiment. Have they completely unloaded? Near enough. Near enough. How many do we have aboard over here? Can I get a read in here? I was hoping it could give me like a little... hate having to do it this way. 7. In fairness, I could just count the AV. So 7, 14, 8. Okay, so still quite a few tanks to be unloaded there from the regiment. They won't take too long to arrive over there. Nanking Naval Guard is moving out. Yeah, okay. They're moving on Bangkok. Bring the road up. Yeah, so do have secondary to go over here, so it'll take a little while. Yeah, that's fair enough there, James. I mean, it's one of those of like, I don't know, maybe I can see. Apparently this one was meant to be better for a larger resolution, but I can see. My advice is, due to the fact that it is in 1440p, you can play it on probably like, I don't know, if you've got like a TV or something like that, or something large. It'll look a lot better. Which I know is little, scant in fact, consolation. Oh well. And I do have the armored forces over here. Just waiting, essentially just waited to take Pakoi over here to the south. I knew about it, but I'd completely forgot about it in terms of like thinking, well, I need these forces to surrender. I'm like, oh, they could actually draw a retreat path to Pakoi, technically. Oh, they haven't crossed as of yet, then. Okay. We are waiting there. We do have quite a few tanks over here, and even some regiments, in fact, waiting for them. They're actually overstrength regiments. More like divisional thirds. So yeah, they have that coming and waiting for them. Forces moving out towards Chungking. Yeah, exactly. God's intended format. Do have forces marching to the north there, so we do have quite a few guns, 175 total. Obviously, that's not including all the big guns, it includes everything, really. They are also moving there. They will be moving. Yeah, they're moving there too. We have, yeah, there we are. So you can see that we have these elements of the 7th RTA. Sorry, the 7th RTA is remaining. 4th and 2nd RTA divisions are moving on. 2nd Raiden Regiment is moving back to Yulasha, where it can be then moved back into Burma proper. Now, Burma proper is going to take some time to fortify. I'd like to gain another division, I think, out here in Burma. I think a 3rd division probably would be quite nice. Even a 4th division really would have been a more comfortable position, really. I think then because we would have the capacity to garrison everything rather strongly. We can garrison the important bases with 2 divisions and some additional Thai forces, and other forces too. 3 divisions would probably allow us to completely garrison the important bases. 4 would mean that we'd have more or less everything covered. But I'd like to have like 2 divisions kind of like stationed out in the boonies, I guess you could say, on garrison-ish duties. Kind of being there like over here, like a Kefa, I think it is. That one I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce. I mean, we have a regimental 3rd, so you have quite a strong force. Which is a good thing, because then if he does try to move on here, it doesn't make it easy for him at any of these. We are building up the fortifications here too. I mean, Burma is really our flank of empire now. I don't know if I'd like this map mod. It's nice, but I think some of the other ones are a little bit easier to read. This one's quite bright though. It would probably burn out my retinas. How you doing there, George. Yeah. Alright, so that's going said. We have the division margin over here, the 3rd division, which is going to take up a garrison out there. That should be good. Yeah, they're heading out that way. So, relatively quiet turn. Not a bad thing. Yeah, we have a turn. So we can hopefully get things ongoing now. And keep it that way, really. It was a longer pause than I had imagined it would be, in fact. Quite funny how that worked out. I'll probably take a little bit longer to actually turn the turnover, really, because I have to, for one, get in contact with Gary. He's been MIA for a little while. But also just to really go over things once again and get some good things going. Yeah, the readability. I can imagine due to the size of the map, really. I'll have to take a look, really. It may because it's too bright and this is, like, yellow. It looks okay for me on a larger screen, but I guess this is the issue, isn't it? I'll take a look at the other maps. I'll take a look at the other ones. I'm not going to spend too much longer here. So there's not all that much to really cover as of this moment. So we'll take a look at the operation reports then. Then go from that point. That cab is pretty normal. I mean, the reports around Shishima... Oh, that's kind of cool. And the reports around Shishima are normal as well. We do know that there are submarines out there. Okay. Yeah, quite a few things building up over here. I can also see the A-System 8 advanced there, which is good. I like that. Me too, me too. It felt weird not doing it. Apparently she's in service. I hate that shit. There we go, 15th Gen AF. Upgrading, that's good, so they should have some radar there. Nothing really much happened. Will you form your first tank division after you take chunking? Yeah, I think so, I think it's a good question then, I know. I think we discussed it a while ago, but I mean, when it comes to the actual tank division, because it actually folds in elements of, like, well, infantry and things of that nature, like engineers, I think we're probably better off just having them as purely armoured for now, especially for the, well, just for the tasks that we have at hand. A new AP is good to have. B5M1s, we actually do need those. They come in handy. Okay. I'll go ahead and check on signal. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know what's causing it with Twitch. So I just had to tab out there just to type that. I don't know why it's been weird on Twitch. I guess I'm gonna have to figure that one out. If you're watching here on YouTube, then apparently your God's Master Race or something. Yeah, new mod. New map mod. Had to combine those. I think I'll probably switch back to an older one, and then make that work. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look then. I like that. So this turn in terms of losses here then, as per usual, as we do tend to fly more, but we did have one shot down by Cap, which is a pretty good indication of one, either aircraft on carriers or two aircraft on airfields. Yeah, I know, right? I'd love to see the American one, but well, the Allied one must be so nice. There's actually things to read there. Yeah, usually. But we are at 25.76 over here. It would be quite great to actually achieve a victory chunking, and then that brings us pretty close to where we need to be. Also put some pressure on him. So in terms of ship sunk this turn, interesting enough, it doesn't even list the barge. But we know we had a... I'm pretty sure we had a barge go down. We could have had a shot attack. Well, we did have a shot attack. We had 4 shots, actually, to be precise, but they decided... well, I elected to not use their deck gun, because, you know, torpedoes can miss. Shells... a little bit easier. I mean, and granted it might have been dangerous. That tanker may have looked at them sideways. Fuck me, I really wish they'd taken shots at it. They burn pretty good. Right, we'll take a look at the R&D and then we'll conclude about that. Okay. So we advance the exits and mates. Yeah. We're looking pretty good there. So that's 644. And now... D4Y1C Judy, so we have 2 at 30 now, which is pretty awesome. We may be able to shave off maybe probably maybe a month or so on this one. Maybe a little bit more than that. I do the maths, but I'm terrible at it. Tojo, oh, okay, need that one to actually get there to 30. We are quite behind on the Tojo. I had expected, well, I had hoped that we might have been able to progress it further, but no. Alright, got the 2 8s. I can't remember for the life of me where we were on this, but it looks like we are pretty much in the same position, but having the 2 8s is a good thing. Eventually, in the year 2030, we'll actually have the Ki 83. Maybe. Okay. We do have Yamato. Yeah. So, Yamato, Junyo, Shitsuyo, Ishin, Shitose, Hyoda, they're going to be heading south in the near future. We're going to go ahead and have a super battleship placed in Singapore for the while. For a fair while, anyway. Until we have something potentially major. Yeah. But yeah, we'll have them move south. They're going to go ahead and head down here to Singapore area. It is going to be quite handy to actually have carrier out here. We do have the others, which we need to begin moving, in fact. We have a hell of a lot of ships that we need to move out of here. As we've been assembling them together. We do. Actually, I tell you what, there's a big convoy that moved through here. It was meant to arrive here the turn before, but we had a muck-up, didn't we? So I need to check if it has arrived. It looks like we do have some detection here, which is not too surprising, but that's fine. Is it here? Yeah, here we go. What do we have here fuel-wise? You didn't ask. Sounds good to have you, my man. Right, so the fuel hasn't yet started unloading. Did we have 100 there? Or did we have 100 here? Has 100... No, maybe that's further behind. I tell you what, I can go ahead and take a look at task forces and sort by fuel. Ah, there they are, yeah. Yeah, that 182, okay, those sub-chasers kind of need to be refueled there, but we can sort that. Therefore, with 32... 32... Oh, that's 111. Oh, okay, so we have 32 in front then, don't we? Yeah, 32 over here then. Yeah, 32 head to Rabal, however you want to count that. To be fair, I know. I mean, we did have Kid Batai actually try to engage his carriers multiple times. He just slipped past us. They've achieved much. We haven't actually been able to engage with the enemy proper, but then again, you take a look at how he's actually acted in this game. He's been a cagey effer. He hasn't made it easy for us to actually engage. So, you can take the pessimistic view and say that they've done nothing, but in fairness, I mean, had we not had Kid Batai give chase, had we not had Kid Batai attempt to offer battle, I mean, we wanted to offer the battle initially, but we just made we went right, he went left sort of thing. Had they not been there, then you can imagine he would have continued. But, above all, they're still here. They're still alive, and they're still going to have an impact on the game. Ideally for a few years to come, really. They're in Japan. Japan. Can't really speak. They're in Kobe, Japan, over here. Still. They'll sell it out one day. Yeah. But the good news is, obviously we're undergoing upgrades on the others now. But while they're in here in Japan, they are not burning fuel, which is a good thing. A very nice thing. Yeah, so we do have the 50-odd K fuel to unload over here then, which they are doing. I kind of had hoped that they would have unloaded. We lost essentially the Minikid Batai, and that was actually fairly early on. We did lose the last one out here, didn't we? It almost made it back home and it got torpedoed, I think. Yeah, so even though we had lost the MKV, which is a shame, it didn't really hold us back too much. But that's kind of where I want to touch upon. So we do have Carrier, Karga, and Unyo over here. What we're going to go ahead and do then in time is have them link up around here in the Dutch East Indies with Junyo. And then we're going to have them kind of form like a task force to just sort of foray out here and try and take up some targets, perhaps. Even if they don't foray out of the Dutch East Indies, having at least a small carrier task force in the Dutch East Indies would be quite nice. Just for the fact that it gives us some power projection that should he actually advance into Java Sea, that's not just purely coming from air bases, land-based air bases, you know what I mean? So it's going to be a good thing to have that. I would like to try and get out there. We know that he is running ships out here. I'd really like to try and take Exmouth and establish like a naval search base there, so we could try and at least potentially, well, not even just for the fact of trying to find ships, but just so we could see if something was approaching the Dutch East Indies. Having forewarning is a pretty big deal, and that would be ideal. Alright, but generally things are going relatively fine. Could have gone better. I imagine future games will probably have a hell of a lot more action, but action will come. Hey, did that chance? No. I think it's expecting my surrender, in fact. Yes, we do have some view to attend with over here, content with. Okay. I need to balance out the garrisons around here. Didn't the second invasion of Wake fail because you left the convoy without cover? Try to remember now. Okay. I think I had Kitabatai ahead, and he had been in another position. Either or. One of those. I mean, we had the third one fail. Who knows, there may even be a fourth failure. Give it time, there may be a fifth. So yes, Wake has been a bit of a problem. But as I've stated, he did say that he had a strategy to Wake around Wake Island and draw that in. So in future games, we definitely take that as a lesson. How you doing there, Snake? Good time, my man. Yeah, so we definitely take that lesson in the future. And obviously make sure we achieve Wake, but... Yeah, I know. I'm going to be changing it again next time, I think, until we can find something that everybody's happy with. People are saying it's a little bit hard to read, which is understandable. I don't know if I could stream it. I could stream it in 1080p. I could do that. I'll try that actually. I'll see how that looks. Yeah, I'll see how that looks, and hopefully that might be the best of both worlds, in fact. Because I think it would be larger, but we'll see. It is nice to be able to see everything, though. Okay. Yeah, so in general, looking pretty good. Just obviously taking that time on now. Once we do have a fuel down here to Lagi, obviously we'll need additional fuel down here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like the... Was it a Tone class? Yeah. Like, we had a lot of losses around Wake. And I regret that we did. I think really should have just taken their message. Maybe... I think perhaps after either the first attempt that failed or the second attempt that failed, we should have just probably given up at that point. And obviously we'll take that on board in the future. I'd love to say we've had opportunities to bleed him, but it's been difficult for us to bleed him. As far as it goes, if we take a look over here, like granted we have had some important ships sunk. Well, we're about 500-ish behind there. Oh yeah, well I mean this is it, isn't it? Wake is one of those where it's going to be a problem. I'd like to bombard it in the future to try and decrease its usability. So I'm sure as hell not going to take it, but yeah. That ship may have sailed, at least for now. But yeah, so we're about 500-ish behind here in terms of actual points of ship sunk. Which, okay. Granted it hurts, but I'm hoping that we will be able to make that up. It's been really on the land front where he's actually really helped us there. I mean, this is it, I know. I'd like to say that our guns would matter. But in fairness, have you seen our engagements where we don't hit anything? We don't land our torpedoes? And we get absolutely decimated. Those are always fun. I do, well, actually speaking on that one, I did actually change around the commands. I'll go ahead and take a look. Is it this one? Yeah, so we do have Masu and Yamashiro over here. So we actually do have some pretty fine commanders over here, pretty fine captains. So you can see that we do have a 91 naval over here. He did say to me on an email that partially, when we had the engagement, especially the one down here that saw the Haruna absolutely effed. He had the task force led by his best naval commanders and the best captains, which I think that's another thing as well that will be a hell of a lot more on the ball about in the future. Yeah, I know, Snake. I do that as a meme, but I can't stop saying it now. Yeah, he's been weird on land. We've been saying that throughout. I don't think we've been poor on land. I think we've had luck, and I think we've had him really allowing us to an extent, but I don't think we've ever really taken it for granted. I think we've always acted on the assumption that it wasn't for granted. That makes sense. But yeah, I don't know why he fought the way he did in China. Oh yeah, that was at Halsey, that's it, yeah. But again, I always will draw upon the event that took place over here at Kaligite, or whatever it's called. Do remember he met us on the second day. Literally, we'd landed, and on the day of actual battle, the second day, he had forces there to meet us on the beaches. So he's more than capable of actually playing the land game. He always says he's bad at land. I just think I think he's just trying to lure us into a false sense of security, but I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Yeah, it does actually give us some buffer to work with. Yes. And to be fair, we lost Haruna. Oh, what, 180 turns in this time? Yeah, about 180-ish turns into the game this time. It wasn't because I knew that Prince of Wales was there, or... to be honest, I didn't expect there to be Prince of Wales. Can you take your Chinese armies out of China once China is subdued? Yes. Now, we have a house rule regarding, like, forces in China have to, like, pay PP to be able to be taken outside the borders of China. I will double-check and ask him to an extent, like, is that still the case once China has actually fallen? I think we're okay to go in Manchukuo. We did have the actual Guangdong army actually leave. Well, we had the Manchurian army actually leave Manchuria. So, I can imagine we could march into Manchuria. Marching elsewhere would be quite nice, but, yeah, we'd have to double-check to be on the safe side with that one. But we'll go ahead and call it about here. I'm really quite surprised that it's not working on Twitch for some reason. I don't know why it started working and then didn't, but yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it, Snake, isn't it, really? It's an interesting one when it comes to, like, force concentration. But I think it definitely does depend on your opponent. And I think the time as well. I think earlier on, force concentration is very important. Had we probably concentrated force more earlier, we might have been able to win a few more key engagements and maybe been able to finance his numbers a little bit more, so that we could have gone with less concentration in the future to achieve a few more objectives. But in fairness, I will always say that not having Pearl Harbor go off kind of threw me through a loop. And then obviously having the carriers make their rampage down here kind of threw me through a loop on that one. But, well, we've had that happen, and at least in the future it doesn't surprise us as much. But yes, thank you for watching. Do look forward to the Gilbert Islands probably being attacked next turn, as we have been detected out here. Which inevitably means that he will be coming. Ah, yes, I have that. I just need to assemble it. Which, it's pretty difficult. It's quite small. I will eventually send him something. I'm trying to get THD to actually play a game of 1vs2 with me, actually. Do bug him about that one. I keep periodically bugging him to play that one. And I'll buy him a T-34, that'd be pretty sick, in fact. One of those Rubicon ones as well, you know, the OG, really nice stuff. Well, I mean, we did attack the Philippines, in fairness, so... We did still attack US US forces out here, so yeah, they still would have a good reason to go to war. They still would. But there we are. Okay, until next time, I'll use I don't know when the next turn will be, to be honest. We have to get this sorted, but it'll be when it'll be, really. So, thanks for watching. Don't know why it didn't work on Twitch. Again, broke something. Don't know how. Happens. But if you guys would like to go ahead and actually take a quick look at the Redbubble link, you guys can actually go ahead and get yourself some sweet-ass merchandise. Maybe get a mug. That looks pretty cool. Eventually there will be more prints. We'll see there. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a game of 1vs2 with him. That'd be nice. Until next time, thank you and goodbye. I guess I'm going to say.